Our Hearings Our Voice have been working with Sheriff David Mackey and the Hearing Systems Working Group since November 2021. You've shared with them some of the issues that you've experienced in the children's hearing system, like having to repeat your story over and over again to strangers, or feeling like you and your family are not supported to be heard in your hearing. You've talked about some of the language you've experienced at hearings, being cold, impersonal, confusing, or harmful at times. You've shared your experiences, expertise, and valuable insight with David and with others, and given them feedback on some of the solutions that they came up with in response to the issues that you raised. And here's the result: Hearings for Children, the Redesign Report. This video is a summary of all the changes the Hearing System Working Group are suggesting. If they're accepted by government, they'll be included in law and will be put into place for children coming through the hearing system in the future. This could take years, and there's no guarantee that all the recommendations will be accepted by government. If they are accepted, it will radically change the way that children's hearings are run. This is huge. It's why the report has attracted so much media attention. I want to summarise what's actually inside the report. The recommendations are broken down into 14 sections. Those of you who have been with Our Hearings Our Voice for a while will be familiar with the 40 calls to action. The 40 calls are based around children's rights. The recommendations for improvements that Our Hearings Our Voice would like to see in the children's hearing system, and have a strong focus on feeling safe, having the right information, being able to properly participate in hearings, and being respected and supported by adults. 2.5 years on, some of the 40 calls have already been met, and some are being worked on by different agencies. David Mackey met with you in November 21 to learn about the 40 calls. You'll see as we go through the recommendations in the redesign report that many of them are linked to the 40 calls. Let's have a little look at the recommendations. Firstly, children and families will be able to access better, more organised support in times of need. This applies even for children who are not involved with the children's hearing system. The social workers, decision makers, and other people who work with children will take time to get to know them and their families, so the information they share at children's hearings will help panel members make the best decision. Second, children's voices will be heard in their hearings and they'll be supported to take part in decision making. The adults in the hearing will speak about children and their families in supportive, easy to understand language, making it easier for children to join the conversation if they want to. Adults in the hearing will be trained to understand trauma and its effect on children and their families, and consider what support they might need. Children and their families will be aware of their rights and how to access them too. Children will come to hearings with a child's plan, which will be at the heart of their hearing. The child and their family can help shape the plan, which will contain information about what kind of support works best for them. Thirdly, children's hearings and the journey leading up to them will feel more joined up. The reporter will work more closely with other professionals who are supporting the child and their family. The criminal justice system will also work more closely with the children's hearing system in Scotland. Number 4, children will be offered independent advocacy support right after they've been referred to the reporter if it hasn't already been offered. This may also be offered to the family. Children will be asked several times whether they would like the support of an independent advocacy worker if they say no the first time. Children will be fully aware of their right to legal representation and will be able to access support from lawyers if they need it. There'll be a consideration of whether some legal aid changes might help as well. 5, children and families will understand the reasons or grounds for why they've been referred to the children's hearing system, and these will be agreed in a separate process before the hearing takes place. The good and positive parts of children's lives and the lives of their families will be talked about, as well as things that are difficult. Number 6, children's hearings will feel calm, supportive and safe. Decisions will be made alongside children and their families by a highly trained chair and 2 panel members who will be paid. The way that decisions are made in hearings will change as well. Number 1, the panel and the child and their family will be better prepared for the hearing. Children will feel involved in the decisions about how a hearing should happen. Number 2, the hearing will take place and then there'll be a break for everyone to have a rest and reflect. 3. The chair will share a decision by talking to children and their family in a way that they understand. They will also share a longer decision in writing with children and their family, who will receive support to understand what this means after the hearing takes place. Number 7. All panel members will work closely beside children and their families, and they will be kind, empathetic and respectful. The chair will become a familiar face for children as they follow their journey in the children's hearing system. The chair will know the child's background, so they will not have to retell their story at every hearing. Children and their families will feel safe, listened to and respected. The hearing will feel well managed by the chair, as they'll be highly trained and equipped with the skills needed to ensure that the discussions are respectful and everyone keeps as calm as they can. The chair will know how to follow up on the big decisions made in a hearing and will have a responsibility to hold other people and agencies accountable for actions that they agreed to. In the hearing, all adults present will have a clear role, and there won't be anyone there who doesn't have an important contribution to make. 8. Children and their families will be invited to meet the chair before a hearing, so that they are a familiar face and can answer questions children might have. All the paperwork that children receive will be clear and straightforward to understand. Everyone attending the hearing will be given enough time to read and understand paperwork beforehand. Children will be asked what time and place is suitable for them to attend a hearing. Children will be encouraged to attend the hearing and supported to make sure their voice is heard. If they do not want to attend their hearing, they'll be asked about other ways to share their views. Where possible, important people in the child's life will be included in the discussion with the panel. After, children will be supported to understand what was discussed and what decisions were made. Number 9, children and their families will be recognised by decision makers as experts in their own lives. They will be at the centre of hearings and encouraged to have their voices heard, working alongside professionals to make the best decisions possible. Time will be spent making sure children and their families understand their rights and choices about how they participate in their hearing. 10. Everyone in the room at a children's hearing will have a clear role. That role will be explained to children. Language used will be clear and respectful towards everybody in the room. Number 11. The order that the panel makes will be more specific and detailed about the help and support children and their family need, and will protect safe, loving and supportive relationships with the important people in a child's life. Children will not live in secure care for longer than needed. Wherever possible, the same chairs should be present at hearings for a child's brothers and sisters too. If a child cannot live at home, wherever possible, they must remain with the same caregivers who made them feel safe and protected. 12. Although children's hearings are mainly centred around children, the panel will also consider what support the whole family need in order to overcome challenges. The people responsible for making sure an order is implemented will have more power to make sure children and their families are receiving the support that was promised to them. Children, their families, the important people in their lives and those working beside a child will be able to keep in touch with the panel about how things are going. 13. The right organisations will have the right information at the right time to make sure that they understand if the lives of all children who engage with the children's hearing system have got better. There will be one place to go to make a complaint about the children's hearing system. 14. What children, their families and other people with experience of the children's hearing system say is working well in different areas of Scotland will be implemented across the whole country. These are the key recommendations that are included in the Redesign report. These recommendations are linked to many of the issues that you've brought up in the 40 calls to action. They echo many of your hopes and wishes for the future of the children's hearing system. Never forget that these recommendations came about through you selflessly giving of your time, your talents, your experiences and your ideas, so that children and their families coming through the hearing system in the future will have a more positive experience, one where they're respected, listened to, empowered and placed firmly at the centre of their hearing. Thank you for all that you've done and continue to do as part of our hearings, our voice.